My name is Warren Sokol, and I'm a mastering engineer / production engineer here at Universal Mastering. I've been here about 2 years now, and I've been specializing in mastering for about 10, 15 years. What we do here at Universal Mastering is a number of different things. We do regular album mastering. We have 3 mastering rooms that we do that in, and we do both label work for labels under the Universal Music Group, and we also do third-party mastering. So anybody can call up and have a session done here. A couple of the projects we're working on right now, we do mastering for the TV show The Voice. They, after they're done competing and they have the television show, the songs that they sang on the show go for sale on iTunes. And so we're taking care of all the mastering for The Voice right now. I just finished archiving and preparing some 2496 files of B.B. King. They're going to be re-releasing some of that stuff. American Records was also just acquired by Universal, so we've started seeing a bunch of the American records like the Beastie Boys and Johnny Cash and stuff like that come through. We have both analog and digital tools here. In the digital, we have both outboard and plugins inside the DAW. Which we use and when depends on the music and what needs to be done. Sometimes all that needs to be done EQ-wise is a little dip at this frequency or that frequency to clear things up, or maybe boost a tiny bit here, a tiny bit there. If that's all that needs to be done to a project, a lot of times we'll just use a plugin. Other times a little more needs to be done, and sometimes an analog EQ might be employed. A lot of the analog stuff, and in particular some of the stuff that we have, some of the more vintage pieces, add a certain glow or harmonic quality to the sound. So in that case, I would probably go for an analog EQ when I need to kind of beef the sound up, as opposed to something digital or a plug-in to kind of keep it clean and more accurate to the original sound. I have, not the entire bundle, but I do have the EQ and the compressor and the inflator and the limiter and the reverb, and I use them all we do a little bit of mixing here too, which is where the reverb comes in handy. And it is one of the better reverbs I've used, especially for the price. There's some that cost $6,000 and give you a bunch of other stuff as opposed, or in addition to the reverb. But the Sonnox reverb in particular is one of the better ones that I've used. It's great and easy to use. And I'm a big fan of the compressor and the EQ as well. Having the multiple options of different types of EQ as well. I know it gives you 4 different types of EQ in there, and those come in handy as well, because sometimes you set something up when it isn't just right, and every now and then I can just pop through the 4 different options, and one of them will kind of click and work great for me. So I think I use number 3 the most, to be honest with you. If 1 and 2 are almost the same. I think they have a little bit different in the way it cuts the frequency. I think number 4 is the mastering one. A lot of times it's a little too wide for me, so I tend to go with number 3 quite a bit. But sometimes just popping through them after setting up the EQ, and just something special kind of happens. That magic, unquantifiable thing. We've been doing the Mastered for iTunes project since it began. In fact, we had a little bit to do with how that all came about, and working with Apple and the labels to kind of come up with how that was going to be handled by both mastering studios, production rooms, and selling it to the commercial public. So since we started doing that, we've been using the Sonnox Pro-Codec. And the metering and just the ease of use, the ability to flip and hear the difference as opposed to the sound and hear what distortions are being added or what might be being removed from the sound comes in handy. With the Mastered for iTunes stuff, what we actually send to iTunes is a WAV file, and they take care of the encoding in the end. So when we're doing QC work or checking it out, quality checking it, we have to encode to AAC for the quality listening control, and also to check clipping and whatnot. And having the Apple iTunes Plus codec built into the Sonnox helps a lot, because we are able to trust that what's coming out of there, not just metering wise but sound wise, is what it's going to sound like in the end after it's sold on iTunes. Gives the clients confidence in that what is going to be sold is what we are listening to and what they're listening to. We do use the Pro-Codec for third-party clients. If a client takes home a CD master, they're going to stick it in their computer and rip MP3s or AAC files that they can put on their MySpace page or on iTunes or send to their friends or do whatever on their website. We're now offering to encode MP3s or AACs for them using the Sonnox codec, which is a great codec. It sounds great. A lot better than most of the codecs just built into a computer. Not only that, but they're able to listen to the different types and see which one sounds best to them. So it comes in handy. We use it a lot for third-party clients.